started out this series of videos with the intention of examining Docker from the perspective of a full stack web developer. In this video, we will look at how we can containerize a simple Express.js based application. Now, to run Express.js, you understand that we need Node.js. So, should we start out with a standard Docker container and then install Node.js on it and then proceed forward? Not really. We already have Node.js based Docker images available in Docker Hub. So we'll go ahead and start with that as our base image and see how we can go about containerizing an Express.js application. The official Node.js Docker image is available here. And in this Docker image, you can see the documentation about how we can make use of this Node.js based Docker image. And in particular, I am interested in using the Alpine version of the Docker image in this exercise. The Alpine version is based upon the popular Alpine Linux project, which gives you a very small footprint for our Docker image. So let's go ahead and examine this further. To get you started, I have created a very simple Express.js based application where I have scaffolded this out using the Express generator and edited a little bit to further simplify the project that is generated by Express generator. So to get started, let's first clone the Git repository. github.com jmopala node app.git, and this clones up the Express.js application. And then let's move into the node app folder, and then you can list the contents, and you can see that this is a very simple node application. Now, to get started, of course, open this folder in a editor, and then we'll go ahead and create the Dockerfile for this application. So here I have the Express.js application open in. Let's go ahead and create a Dockerfile. So in the Dockerfile, as I mentioned earlier, we will start out with Node Alpine as the base image. When we run our Express application, we don't want to run it as the root. We want to run it with less privileges. Fortunately for us, the node image provides us with an additional user with the user ID as node. So we're going to run our Express.js application as the user node. To help us get started, we will first create a folder into which we're going to copy the Express.js application code that I have just downloaded from GitHub. So let's go ahead and create a new directory called home node app. And also we will change the owner and group of this folder to the node user. So that way, all the files here will be owned by the node user. If you are familiar with Unix or Linux, you understand exactly what I've done. After this, we will set the working directory. The work dir is a way of setting up the work directory or the directory from which your application is going to be run in this Docker container. And so here I'm going to set that up to the app folder that we have just created. In addition, we will now switch the user to node. Next, let's copy the contents of the Express.js application folder into the home node app folder, and with node as the owner of all the files. So from the current folder, because we are going to be running this in the current folder, and will be copied to the current folder, which, since we have already set the work directory as home node app, the current folder would be home node app. Once you have copied, then you know that we need to install the node modules. So I'm going to run npm install in order to install all the node modules. Now remember that this is being run inside the container, so the node modules are going to be installed inside the container, not on your computer. This is important to remember because the application itself is going to be running inside a container which is running the Alpine Linux image there. The Express.js application will run at the default port number as 3000. So let's go ahead and expose that port number. And then finally, the command to start the Express server, which is npm start. With this, our Dockerfile is complete. Let's go ahead and save the Dockerfile. We'll build the image and then launch the Express application. Going to the terminal, at the prompt, let's build the node application and then give it a tag as node app. Remember that Docker build, the tag always has to be in lowercase. So we'll give the tag as node app, and then we're going to build it in the current folder. So dot there. And then let's go ahead and build the application there. And as you would expect, it will pull down the Node Alpine image from Docker Hub. And once that is completed, then it will create the folder and the working directory. Then it will go ahead and copy all the source files into container, and then run npm install to install all the node modules, and finally complete the building of the image. Now let's go ahead and launch the node application. So to do that, at the prompt, type docker run -dp 3000. You already know why we are doing this. And then let's give it a name as node app and launch the node app there. And once the container is up and running, let's go to the browser and then see what this Express.js server is serving up. Going to the browser, let's now type localhost 3000, and you will see that my simple Express.js server is simply identifying that we are at the slash endpoint, or the root endpoint for the server there. We also have one more route in the Express.js server called users. So when we navigate to the users route, you see that this is going to serve up this from the server. This is a very simple Express.js application. The intention of this exercise was to illustrate to you how you can package a Node.js based application into a container and then run that container. Once you have completed that, make sure to stop and remove the container. With this simple exercise, we have learned how to containerize a Node.js application.